This is Flexbox Defense, a game where we get to practice cascading style sheet, Flexbox properties, and we're going to be using justify content property to do our basic introduction. It aligns things along the main axis. So let's see what justify content does. We've got our gun turrets here, which we want to place close to the road so we can defend against invaders coming down this winding road. So this looks like it's supposed to be in the center, so let's put it in the center. And let's see what happens. Here come our invaders down the road. And we're shooting at them. Blam, blam, blam. And there we go. This is pretty much how it works. So, wave 1 defended. Let's see wave 2. In wave 2, we're going to be using justify content to align things along the main axis, which is horizontal by default. We've got flex start, end, center, which we've already seen, space between, and space around. So let's see what we can do. We've got our first gun turret here. By default, it's at flex start. We want it to be over here close to the road at flex end. So let's just say flex end. Good. Now, I'm going to jump down here to the third gun turret because it's in the same situation. So let's just copy and paste flex end. And copy and paste back up here into the second group. If I do flex end again, it's nowhere near the road. We want to do this the same way we had the first one at center. There, everything's close to the road. Let's see what happens. Getting some good shots in. Okay. I'm not sure we're going to need the third gun turret here. And we do need the third gun turret. Okay, that's fine. And done. We've defended against wave 2. On to wave 3, where again we're going to use justify content. But in this time we're going to be using a bit of space between and space around. So let's take a look at what we've got. Our first group, justify content, we just want to put that in the center again. So let's say center. Good. And now let's go to our second group, and we've got a gun turret on the road here. We cannot start a wave with a gun turret on the road. So even though it's close to the road, it's too close to the road. So let's do center. And now it's off the road, but it's also nowhere near the road. So we do space around. There we go, much closer to the road. Now what space around does, it puts a certain amount of space at the beginning and after, and then the beginning of this gun turret and after. So the space around each gun turret is the same on the left and the right. Or another way of looking at it, the space before and the space at the end is equal to the space in the middle. But I want to do between. There. Now these gun turrets are much closer to the road. Space between just puts space between all the items we've got, or gun turrets. So let's see what this wave does. Yeah. Okay, shooting away. And our last gun turret is taking care of them pretty easily. Yeah, we'll have defended against wave 3 easily. Good. Next, wave 4. In this wave, we're going to be doing align items, which aligns things along the cross axis, which by default is vertical. Line items, flex start, end and center. It also has a baseline and stretch properties, but are values to the property, but we won't be using them in this. So align items, the first one, cross axis is vertical, and we want, by default, it is flex start, flex center, we'll place them here. Flex end should place them at the end, at the bottom. Flex end. Good. So just copy and paste down, and again we want to do flex end. And let's see how this does. Yeah, okay, everything's getting past the first gun turrets, but they're getting hit pretty good, so I think we'll be okay. Yep, we are defending. Blam, 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 blam. Blam, blam, blam. And we are good. Okay, we've defended against wave 4. Wave 5. In this one, we're going to be using justify content to align along the main axis, which is horizontal by default, and align items to align along the cross axis, which is vertical by default. So let's see what our playing field looks like here. We've got 2 gun turrets on the road here. Well, we can't have that. We got to get them off the road, so center them. Good. Now they're nowhere near the road, so let's get them closer to the road. Align items, there we are. Align items and center. Put them closer to where we want them, but we want them flex end. There we go. That's closer, but we want to get them even closer to the road here, so we want to put some space between these gun turrets. And we can put space between, but again, between is going to put them as far apart as possible, no space between at the beginning and end, so space around puts equal amount of space around each gun turret, and we're good. So let's copy and paste this space around down to group 2 here, and we want to place this one in the center. That'll put it close to the road. Good. Oh, and look at that. Space around centered it, because it put an equal amount of space before and after the gun turret. There's only one gun turret, so it's essentially the same as saying center when there's one item. Now the third group here, let's do space around again, copy and paste that. That's okay. And I think we want to do flex items, copy and paste that, and flex end puts it on the road. We don't want that. So center. Good. And this last gun turret could be a little closer to the road, so let's just center them. Good. Okay, here they come. And shooting away. Blam, blam, blam. Yeah, okay, that first one's taken out easy enough. Yeah, okay, the last 2 gun turrets are going to have to do some work here, but I think they'll be okay. And blam, blam, and blam, blam. Good. Wave 5 is done. Let's look at wave 6. Again, justify content and align items. Justify content is the main axis horizontally by default, and align items is vertical cross axis. So we've got our 4 gun turrets here, and I'm going to do align flex end. Oh, look at that. They're very close to the road. Let's see what happens if we do this wave. We are defending. This is good. Nothing's getting through these gun turrets. That's quite a bombardment that's happening. And we have defended. Okay. I don't think that's what was intended. They intended us to use justify content and align items. So let's try this again. So align items, I'll do center this time. And that will put things vertically close to the road along the cross axis. But justify content, and this will align things horizontally along the main axis, and we can do space between. There we go. There's no space at the front, just space between each one, evenly spaced between. And this should work too. Let's see what this does. Okay, we're getting some good hits in here. Yeah, it's working. They're getting farther this time, but oh, gotten up to the 4th gun turret here. Everyone's shooting. Blam, blam, blam. Yeah, we're handling this easily enough. All right, wave 6 is done. Wave 7. In this one, we're going to be using flex direction. Flex direction switches the main axis and the cross axis. The main axis is by default row, which is left to right. Row reverse will put the main axis from right to left. Column will put the main axis from top to bottom. And column reverse will put the main axis from bottom to top. Okay, let's see what we can do. Here we've got our gun turrets. A lot of them are on the road. If they were just in a column, we put our main axis in a column, and there we go. Quite simple. So I can do the same thing, copy and paste it down here, but instead of column, I'm going to do column reverse. In column, it's top to bottom, the main axis. In column reverse, it's bottom to top, the main axis. So let's see what this does. And shooting away. Yeah, a lot of shooting. Boom, 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 blam, blam, blam. Yeah, we're going to defend easy here. Good. Wave 7 done. Wave 8. This one we're going to be using flex direction again, but we're also got justify content for aligning along the main axis, which by default is horizontal. We may be changing that. And align items, which by default is vertical, but we may be changing that. So we've got our first group here, flex direction. We change the main axis to column again. And everything's aligned along the main axis, exactly the way we expect. It's all good. So let's copy and paste that down, because we want this in a column again, because the road is nicely vertical. But in this case, how to move it into the center? When we've been moving into the center before, we've been doing justify content along the main axis. The main axis is now vertical, so we need to do align items along the cross axis and center that. There we go. And I can do column reverse just for fun. There we go. So here's our waves. Blam, blam. And shooting away, and our second set of gun turrets are going to have some work to do, but I think it'll be easy for them. Yeah, this is easy. And done. Okay, wave 8 is defended. Wave 9. In this one, we're going to be using aligning things along the main axis with justify content, aligning things along the cross axis, and changing the flex direction again. So let's see what we've got in our playing field here. We have got a special gun turret here. This gun turret shoots in all 4 directions at the same time. We want that gun turret to be right in the center there. So let's first justify our content, space it out along the main axis. So space, around. Now space around puts a little bit of space before and after, and then equal amount of space between each one. before and after each one. And I think we can do the same thing for our group 2 here. That's a good spacing. And for our group 2 here though, we've got a couple on the road here. Let's align those items. Align items, center. There we go. Now there's one other thing we're going to do here, flex direction. And row is good. We like the row, but we want this 4-shooting gun turret to be over here on the right, and this 4-shooting gun turret to be over here on the left. So let's see what we can do. We can do row, reverse. And now our main axis goes from right to left. And let's do the same thing down here. And let's see how this wave goes. And shooting away. Blam, 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 blam. It's doing a lot of good hits there. Okay. Alrighty. Well, they're getting past our first set of gun turrets, but the ones on the bottom should be able to handle the rest. Yep, they're doing it. They're getting through to the last one, but there's not much left in them when they get to the last one, so I think we'll be okay. And we have defended wave number 9. Let's take a look at wave 10. In this one, justify content will align along our main axis, horizontal by default, and order will change the order in which items, or gun turrets in this case, appear along our main axis. So let's take a look at our playing field here. Again, we want to justify content, space them out, space around. That will put space at the beginning and end of each gun turret. Equal amount of space before and after each one. And I think we can do the exact same thing with the second set of gun turrets. There we go. Now what we want is to change the order of these gun turrets. So let's select this second gun turret up here. And we want the order of this gun turret to be over here on the right. So by default, the order value of each item is 0. So that's 0, 0, and 0. So if I change the order to 1, there we go. I could manually say order 1, order 2, order 3, and that'll work. But in this case, just order 1 is greater than the 0 value that these two have. So down here, let's copy and paste down here to this gun turret down here and see order 1. Well, again, put it on the right, but we don't want it on the right, we want it on the left. So we want something less than 0, which is -1. There we go. Order -1, order 0, and 0. So let's see what this wave does. All right. Wow, there's a lot of them coming in. Wow, that is a lot coming in. Blam, blam, blam. Our bottom gun turrets are definitely going to have a lot of work to do. There we go. Blam, blam. Okay, they're getting through to the last gun turret now. And blam, blam, blam. Okay, I think we're going to be successfully defending here. And wow, everything did work. That was quite the wave coming in. Okay, let's take a look at the next wave, wave 11 of 12. In this one, we're going to be using justify content to align things along the main axis, which is horizontal, and align self to align individual items along the cross axis, which is vertical. And again, when aligning things along the cross axis, there's baseline and stretch values, but we're not going to be using those values. So let's take a look at what we've got. We have got a couple of gun turrets on the road here. We don't want that. So we can space them out. Between, we'll put no space at the beginning and end. So there we are. Those are well spaced. And now let's take a look at the first gun turret. We want to align that one along the cross axis, which is vertical. And right now it's at flex start. If we do flex end, it'll be close to a corner, and that's good. There we go. That's a good spot. So, gun turret number 2 here, that's well placed. I think we're okay there. Gun turret 3, let's place that one at the end as well. And gun turret 4, we don't want it at the end. I'm going to put that one at the center, just for fun. There we go. This should be good. Let's see what happens. And they're all shooting away. Uh-huh. And okay. Blam, blam, blam. Our last gun turret's coming into play. And I think we're going to be okay. Nothing's getting past that last gun turret, I hope. And last one. Oh no! One got past. One got past. Oh no. Let's try that again. Let's try that again. Justify content. Space. Between. Good. Align. Self. Flex. End. Or sorry. Align self. If I can spell it correctly, align self flex end. And copy and paste our third one, flex end. And I'm going to leave the last gun turret on the corner there, and let's see if this does better. Okay. And here we go. Are any of them going to get past the last gun turret this time? Oh, I think we're safe this time. Yes, we have successfully defended against wave 11 this time. Wow. Next one, wave 12, where we get to try out everything we've used so far. Justify content to align along the main axis by default. Horizontal. Align items and align self, which aligns things along the cross axis by default. Vertical. Flex direction, which changes the direction of the main axis. And order, which changes the way things appear along the main axis. So let's take a look at our playing field here. We have got to space these gun turrets out along our very large Flexbox container. So let's do space between. There we go. That's a good spacing. And we want to put our first and second gun turret. I think they're good. Let's go down to our third gun turret here, and we'll do that align self. Align self and center. Good, that's a decent placement. And let's align the next gun turret center as well. And the last gun turret, how about we put that down here in this corner, because it's a nice four-way shooter. So we can do flex end. Good. And now let's just flip these last two around. So I'm going to do order 1, and that will fix this last gun turret at the end. And I want this gun turret to be order 1. I should have copied and pasted. That would have been better. Order 1, and there we go. We've got a nice little gauntlet up here, a gauntlet here, and hopefully this last little gun turret will be able to take everything out. Let's see what this does. Okay. Bam. Good. Not much is getting past the fourth gun. Oh, something got past that gun turret, but our four-way at the end there is hopefully going to be able to take care of it. Oh, it's getting close. Some of these items are getting close. Okay, we're doing it. We're doing it. Oh, phew. Oh, I think we're going to be able to defend. Yes, and that is wave 12 of 12 of Flexbox Defense. Thank you for joining me.